In 2022, LIV CEO Greg Norman announced that 7 of the top 20 players would be joining the league, and nothing of that sort happened. There were also rumors of Hideki Matsuyama and Adam Scott joining the league, but that also didn't happen. So is the news about Jon Rahm leaving the PGA Tour for LIV just another rumor? However, that rumor became a reality the other day when it was officially announced he is leaving for a lofty price tag. We take a deep dive into what we know regarding the signing, but also want to hear from you. Who do you think is next to join the Breakaway Golf League? Welcome to the Golf Caddy, where we give you an inside look into the world of golf from a former caddy himself. As recently as August this year, the third world best golfer player Jon Rahm stated he wasn't leaving for LIV no matter how much money they offered. He appeared to only want to play with the game's best players despite his strong relationships with Phil Mickelson and Sergio Garcia. He also mentioned that he didn't like the format, and that was enough reason for him to stay with the PGA Tour. I laugh when people rumor me with LIV Golf. I never liked the format. I always have a good time with Phil Mickelson and Sergio Garcia in the practice rounds of majors. Phil respects my decision, and I respect his. Mickelson has told me that I have no reason to go play for LIV, and he has told me that multiple times. But months have passed and circumstances have clearly changed because of the recent announcement of Jon Rahm to LIV for $500 million, and 25% team ownership has shocked the golfing world. And it all started with Jon Rahm removing himself from TGL, the new technology-enhanced golf league started by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. Jon was going to be one of the big stars. However, when he withdrew his name from consideration, many thought it just had to do with the busy schedule between TGL and the PGA Tour. Actually, the rumors were already brewing before the list was released, but his absence from the field had many people connecting the dots. Around the same time as the TGL news, Rahm also skipped out on the American Express Championship, where he was a regular for a number of years. Not to mention being the defending champion, and skipping out makes his absence on the list very surprising. It was not until the week of the Hero World Challenge, where Rahm did not participate, along with Rory McIlroy, did the golf world start to hear rumors that the Spanish superstar was entertaining a massive offer from LIV of $600 million. Everyone might be quick to assume that the money might be a major factor because $600 million is a whole lot, but during the 2022 US Open, he made it clear that he didn't play for the money. I've never really played the game of golf for monetary reasons. I play for the love of the game, and I want to play against the best in the world. I have always been interested in history and legacy, and right now the PGA Tour has that. Although sources reveal that family members and friends may have been pushing for the legendary golfer to take the deal. It seems like there might be a stronger motive than that. There has always been the fact that Rahm believes his brilliance is not promoted the same as other players on tour, and that there are those below him who the tour would rather listen to. But once he joins LIV, he would become the face of the league, and they might not hesitate to dance to his tune. So as a person who has achieved so much on the PGA Tour with less recognition than anticipated, going to a different league to become the star might sound enticing. After the last few years, there has been comments made by Rahm, not attacking fellow professionals, but explaining how he does not receive the kind of praise the likes of Rory, Justin Thomas, Tiger, and others get. Whether it is fair or not, it was how he felt, which may have been another factor in pushing him to join the LIV Golf League. So what would it mean for LIV? It would be like hitting the jackpot. When the league launched, everyone assumed many notable golf players would cross to the other side because of the perks it offered. But only a few saw the perks, and in fact, no notable golfer joined the second year. It didn't even help that their application for world ranking points got rejected, making them less enticing for golfers just starting to make their mark on the golf course. So Rahm joining would be a dream come true. Not only would they have one of the best golfers in the world playing on their field, but he might serve as bait for other players to consider the league. It would also change the narrative, meaning LIV might no longer be considered a retirement plan. But Rahm's departure would hurt the PGA Tour a great deal. There is more rumors swirling that both Tony Finau and Tyrrell Hatton are going to join the league to be members of Rahmbo's team, thus making LIV a stronger league than the PGA Tour for the time being. Rahm's skills and presence on the field are enough motivation for several players to ignore the big bucks and focus on playing proper golf. But once he decamps, LIV would seem more enticing as golf players would start thinking, when a big shot like Rahm can make the jump, why can't I? And of course, the rivalry between the two leagues will intensify. However, it's important to mention that the PGA Tour is currently considering a partnership with the Saudi Arabia-backed league to reshape the world of golf. So what would it mean if Rahm moved to LIV? First, the deadline on the agreement is 12/31, and now with this announcement gives LIV Golf so much more power in the negotiating room. Some are thinking that LIV Golf was agreeing to delay this push and eventually take over the PGA Tour due to other issues they were dealing with surrounding players and sponsors. Many feel like this could be the beginning of the end for the PGA Tour, and if more superstars depart, then it could really open up the floodgates of professional golf. To summarize, Rahm, being the world #3 player, will be used as a bargaining chip by the LIV board to ensure the PGA Tour doesn't back out of their negotiations due to the belief that the Tour can't afford to lose someone like Rahm. And second, there's a good chance that the governing members of the PGA Tour would get so mad that LIV lured in a valuable player despite previous agreements and burst up the whole thing. The irony in this whole thing is that Rory McIlroy, who has been very against LIV from the beginning, stated that they will have to change their qualification process to include Rahm for the 2025 Ryder Cup. He said they need to rewrite the rules to allow Rahm, a LIV golfer, to be on the Ryder Cup. This is quite hypocritical after he claimed he did not want any LIV golfers to be on their team at this previous Ryder Cup. With most European LIV players having surrendered their DP World Tour memberships when joining LIV, they became ineligible for the biennial event. But in the case of Rahm, it might not be the case because sources say that Rahm and his team have gone through back channels to ensure he doesn't lose his spot now that he has joined LIV. So while there was massive news in the world of golf, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. With two more sensational players rumored to join LIV Golf and an agreement closing in on the deadline, it is becoming apparent that 2024 will be a crazy year in the politics of professional golf. But what do other players think of the news? Jordan Spieth, who recently replaced Rory McIlroy on the policy board, was emotional about the idea of Rahm leaving the tour. Spieth said prior to the news coming out that if Rahm decided to leave, it wouldn't be great for the tour. Jon Rahm is one of the biggest assets that we have on the PGA Tour, so it would really not be very good for us in general. We want to play against the best players in the world, and that's what Jon is. I know there's been some guys that have talked to him. I know he's maybe weighing some decisions, maybe not. I really don't know. So I don't want to insult him and say he's weighing decisions if he already knows he's not or he is. That's somewhat out of my control in a way. I could speak probably on behalf of 200+ PGA Tour players in saying that we really hope that he's continuing with us. Clearly that ended up not being the case. Sky Sports journalist Jamie Weir has also shared how hard it was to get an answer from Rahm prior to the news breaking. It's becoming very difficult to get any answer out of Jon Rahm. I have reached out to his agent, who I've got a very good relationship with. I've had nothing back from him at all. It would be a huge blow for the PGA Tour. He hasn't been listed in the field for the American Express Championship next month, which is on his doorstep in Arizona, a tournament he always plays in, so that's a bit of a red flag as well. But at the moment, it's all still guesswork. All we can say is clearly the professional landscape is changing drastically in the world of golf. But make sure to stick with the Golf Caddy for all your up-to-date news regarding LIV, the PGA Tour, and the world of golf. We'll see you in the next video.